Everybody, Dave here, Hidden Freedom Investing. In today's video, we're going to look at my dividend portfolio for the month of January. We're going to look at the buys, the sells, the dividend increases, and look at the status of Dividend Mountain as well. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, this is the first portfolio update for 2021. So January dividend update. January is done. We're in February now. We just saw Dividend Mountain there, and there was a little progress there. Not quite to that 500K mark. The dividend portfolio hit a new milestone today, pretty much a new high, I think of $417,000. And I've kind of slowed down a little bit, adding cash to that account, and most of the cash right now is going into my options account, which I hope to at some point, start drawing off that to put in the dividend portfolio. I still am, depositing cash capital every month into the dividend portfolio, but not quite as much as I had been in the past. So let's look at number 2 here, the overview. All Dave's Google spreadsheets are available. I've talked about this in previous dividend update videos. Version 1.06, I am on that version in my own Google sheet right now. There's a couple bug fixes in there. I also changed the options to support long calls and long puts as well. So that will be coming eventually next month or so. I'll make that available, and you'll get an email if you are already a purchaser of my Google Sheets. See the pinned comment or description below if you want to get those Google Sheets there. All right, 2B, roughly $531,000 still left in real estate notes. I've done many videos on my real estate notes. Well, actually, take that back. I've only done one video on it, but I've talked about it enough. If you want to look at that video, go ahead and look at it up here. It's a promissory note video. It's probably, nobody's really heard of those. They're not real popular, but it is a good money maker for me. Still 531K in there, which will be coming out. So if one of those gets paid back early, that capital would be going directly into the dividend portfolio. All right, so we're looking at the dividend portfolio overview, and right now there's $416,000. That's how much the dividend portfolios are worth, and that's 2 accounts. It's tax deferred and a taxable account. And right now there's $363,595 in the taxable, and the tax deferred is about $52,678. And there's a little bit of free cash in both accounts, not very much, pretty low for me actually, in fact. And most of that has been going into VYM, but we'll look at that here in a second. So right now, monthly dividend income combined is over $1,141. All right, daily dividend income is $38. Hourly dividend income is $1.56 per hour. Okay, so that's day and night when I sleep. Eating bacon, it doesn't really matter. $1.56 per hour, 24 hours a day. And that's also an annual dividend income of over $13,696. And just had a really good day in the market today, up 8.82%, so $3,385. And right now, the dividend portfolio has a capital gain of $51,000. And that's an unrealized gain of 14%. So this is kind of interesting here. So account weighted dividend yield 3.3%, account yield on cost 3.76%, and average weighted 5-year dividend CAGR. And if you notice from my last update video, that has gone down quite substantially, so 7.47%. It was like, I think 8.14% last month, so I went ahead and updated all the 5-year dividend CAGRs, 3-year, 1-year, 5-year, and 10-year. And there was just a lot of dividend cuts last year, or not only that, there was also a lot of companies just didn't raise as much as they should have, so that lowered the dividend CAGR quite a bit, literally about 0.6%. So that cut down the dividend growth quite a bit with DRIP, substantially. After 25 years or something like that, it was like $200,000 or $300,000 a year less income that I would have had with the 8.14%. Let's see, average beta 0.76, still very defensive. Average weighted beta 0.85, and number of positions 30 positions. So if you remember my update last month, I still had 30 positions, so I did not sell any positions this particular, or the month of January. Current net worth sits at 1.635. That, I believe, is a high for me. If I'm not mistaken, I don't really keep track of that, whether that's the high or not, but it's pretty much, I think it's the high. So dividend portfolio, 416,000, which we just talked about. I want to grow the dividend portfolio up to $1 million, and we're going to get there by getting out of those notes, and then also feeding this in with the options income and some other income as well. So right now we're 41% to the goal. And we'll come down here before we go to the dividend portfolio, and fire days left, 420 days left until I put my 2-week notice in, and that is creeping down. I remember when I added that in there, it was like 480 something plus days. We're already down to 420, all right? Okay. All right, now we're looking at the dividend portfolio. These are my 30 positions, and I've, pretty much the same positions for the last couple months here. And I'll just kind of scroll to the top here. We'll just kind of filter these real quick from least to greatest. And APD had a pretty substantial bad day today from earnings, so it's down 7% at this point. It is the lowest or the least amount of allocated to my dividend portfolio. I got 1% in APD, and I'm not really going to go through every one of these, but it looks like we have a lot of positions are pretty much out of the red at this point. AT&T is still in the red, but I just did a video on AT&T, and I think they're going to come out of the doghouse and basically raise the Titanic from the bottom of the seafloor eventually. As soon as they pay that debt off, they get that C-band. HBO Max is killing it. If you want to take a look at that video, go ahead and take a look at that video up here. I do think they're turning that ship around. Kimberly-Clark has kind of come down after earnings as well, so we're down 4% on Kimberly-Clark, and then Con Ed has had a kind of a tough time as well, down 8.5%, and then what we got, Chevron here, which is down to 3%, and let's see, what's ExxonMobil? A little bit bigger in my portfolio now. So ExxonMobil, believe it or not, is actually up. So I've done quite a few videos on ExxonMobil. You can take a look at that video up here if you want to take a look at my latest ExxonMobil video. Maybe I should do an update video on that. But look at that, 8% up. That was one of the positions that was actually down in quite a bit. And I took advantage of the market being down and took advantage of just ExxonMobil. Nobody wanted to buy that redheaded stepchild. And I picked up a bunch more shares and lowered my average. And look at, now we're up 8%. My number one position in here is VYM, and I've talked about that in many videos. If you want to take a look at that video, take a look at it up here. Did a specific video on VYM and why I even picked that one. Plus I did a 6-month update on VYM, how the covered calls are going as well. I got 1,400 shares just in that one account. In total, I got almost 1,500 shares in VYM. I'm continuing to build that out, and eventually there's probably about $750,000 just in VYM, and I'll be just selling covered calls against that alone, so I could sell technically 14 contracts at this point. So let's go ahead and scroll to the right here and look at the dividend increases for the month of January. So there's quite a few. Look at all these ones in here. So we had a dividend increase on APD, all right, 11.9% dividend increase, all right. So that's a pretty substantial increase. That's pretty much right in line, a little bit, actually a little bit more than we actually would think, huh? So let's go ahead and clear that flag here. So it should be 6.0. We'll clear that flag. And we got Intel. We had a dividend increase on Intel. Intel, I've done a video just recently on Intel as well. I'll probably do another one, but Intel is killing it right now. They got a new CEO, Pat Gelsinger, which I've actually worked for 2 companies he was worked for. And, at the exact same time he worked there as well, which is kind of interesting. I do think that he's going to turn Intel around. At this point, we just missed that pullback to 54 where it closed the gap, and then it's heading back up north at this point. I don't know if we're going to get another buying opportunity below 55 at this point. So if you didn't pick it up, I'm sorry. You had several months to pick that up, and at this point, this thing may head north. So let's go ahead and clear that. That's 5.3% dividend increase on Intel. So let's go ahead and clear that flag there. 1.39. And that was a little bit lower than what we expect, but it is Intel. You know, they got affected by the pandemic, and you know, also the 7 nanometer, 3 nanometer. I think they're using Taiwan semiconductors going forward. I do think that that company will, you know, pretty much start going north. It's going to take a little bit of time to change the sentiment on the stock, but it is what it is. I'm glad to have it in my portfolio. We got another dividend increase here on Con Ed, so it was a 1.3%. You know, and these utility stocks don't usually give a pretty big dividend increase, but you know, at least we got something out of it. It's a little bit less than what we'd think. You know, normally it's about 3% or so. We got about half of that, but we still got a dividend increase, and it still keeps their dividend status. And they are an aristocrat with 47 years, so they are actually almost a king at this point. And so yeah, they're going to still increase their dividend, whether it's just a penny or not. You know, it is what it is. Let's go and clear that flag there, 3.10. And we'll scroll on down. We got another dividend increase here on Kimberly-Clark. That was a 6.54% dividend increase, and that is actually more than what we would expect, so that's good. Normally it's about 3 to 4%, so we're about 2.5% higher than that. And that puts their dividend increases at 49 years, so another year or so, and they'll be a dividend king as well. So that's pretty good to have a lot of those dividend kings in my portfolio. Pretty defensive, Kimberly-Clark. You know, whether you call it a sin stock and they're cutting trees down or not, I don't know. You know, they're an ass gasket maker, but you know, the company is a solid company. They're pretty defensive, and there's pretty low beta stock as well. So let's go ahead and clear that flag there. That is 4.56, and I obviously fat fingered or skinny fingered that one there, 4.56. All right, and that basically clears out all of the dividend increases. So that's a pretty good month there for dividend increases. I'm pretty happy with that, actually. We got Johnson & Johnson there. Obviously, it's a pretty big position in my portfolio. Not quite, you know, the biggest position. Microsoft's still there, up 29%. But look at that there. The Apple is just killing it. I don't even, you know, I picked that up at the very bottom of the market back in like March of 2020. And I think I only invested like originally like $4,000 or something in there. And it's look like it's already doubled. So it's 126% up. So that's all right. Let's go and take a look at the rest of the agenda here. We pretty much looked at the dividend increases. Look at the sells and the buys for the month of January here. The dividend portfolio just hit an all-time high. Go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. All right, we're looking at the buys and the sells. Now, I did not do any sells in the month of, let me see, did I make this a little smaller? There we go. I did not do any sells in the month of January, so I didn't sell anything. I didn't sell even a portion of a stock at all. But these are the buys that I did in the month of January. So I added about, what, $11,000 to VYM, 118 shares. I bought some JPM there. Just feel like that's one of the top-notch financial companies. And so I picked up 7 shares, $975. I picked up some ABBV, just to increase the healthcare a little bit. 5 shares of that, you know, $561. Picked up a little bit of MO. It's starting to grow on me a little bit. Even though the 5-year chart looks like garbage, it is what it is. People are probably always going to be smoking, probably the long as I live, but it is what it is. 12 shares I picked up of MO, $498 total, and I picked up a little bit of 3M there. And I think they had a little bit of decline one day after earnings or something. It kind of sold off, so I picked up 3 shares, another $497. Total stocks bought this period, 5 stocks for a total of $13,587. That brings us to the allocation page here, and I just updated this S&P 500 ETF on the right-hand side over here, so it's updated on December 31st, 2020. I'll check it in next month, see if it needs to be updated again. Right now, my consumer staples is sitting at 18.2, utilities at 10.3, financials at 6.5, healthcare at 11.9, materials 1.5 is kind of low because of APD. And real estate, that's just my realty income, 3.2%, energy at 6.3, which is a little bit higher than what we'd expect, but I took advantage of Chevron and ExxonMobil being down, and look at right now, I'm up 8% on ExxonMobil, so I think that was a good play. Industrials 8%, consumer discretionary at 7.8, consumer communication services at 6.2, information technology is at 20%. So we're still down on information technology, but I'm pretty happy with that. This is a very defensive portfolio, very low beta. That's mostly comes from the high utilities and a lot of consumer staples there. And maybe I'll just probably build up this materials a little bit. APD is down right now, so I actually might pick up a little bit of shares in that while it's down. So that brings us to the dividends received for the month of January. So I received 5 total dividends for the month of January. I received a dividend on Kimberly-Clark, one on Pepsi, one on Altria, one on Realty Income, which is a monthly payer, by the way, and one on Cisco Systems. All right, so I received a total of $346.15. It is one of the lower months for me. It's actually one of the lower month periods. So January, April, or whatever that time frame is, the 4 times a month is going to be pretty low. Next month it'll be a little bit more, and then the month after that's my ginormous month. But we will look at that here. Look at the pretty much the dividends projection for January, or excuse me, for February. All right, it's time to update the dividends for the month of January. So we're going to run a script here to update this brand new part of the spreadsheet, which has not had any dividends added to it yet for 2021. Obviously, we have the 2019, which really wasn't a dividend paying year for me. 2021 was really the first year I did a lot of dividends. So we had over $7,200 for the month, for year of 2020, and now we're into 2021. So let's go ahead and run a script to update the dividends for 2021, and we'll just pop up the dividend-o-meter here. So here's the dividend-o-meter for 2021. Let's go ahead and run the update script here. All right, so we updated the Google Sheets with the script here. So that wrote basically $346 across the spreadsheet. So we did see the dividend-o-meter go up, so $346 there. If we go back to dividends received, those 5 dividends got wrote across this line right here. So there's the Realty Income, the Kimberly-Clark, the Pepsi, the Altria, and then we got the last one over here should be just Cisco, and there it is right there. And then it should just total at the very end, $346. So that's pretty good for January. And then February, I think, is going to be a little bit bigger than January, but we'll look at the projections on that just here in a second. So looking at the dividend charts here, this is dividends by month, and 2021 is this, kind of orange looking one. So obviously January, whether it being small or not, still eclipsed the previous 2 years, 2019 and 2020. And then February, looks like we don't really have a big milestone to clear there in February, really at all, because I was pretty much starting this dividend portfolio in early 2020, so I didn't really have a lot of capital invested to have a big month in February last year, nor was 2019 really a big year. So let's go and scroll down here, dividends by quarter. So we got Q1 for, obviously $346, didn't quite come in what Q1 was for 2020. And part of that reason is because I got out of a lot of stocks that paid during that quarter. I did have over 39 positions, I think, at one point. I got rid of a lot of those other positions that paid during that quarter, because honestly, I don't really care when they pay. I'll average them out on my own, but it is what it is. We still have another month to put in there, another few months to put in there, so it actually is going to eclipse Q1 of 2020 anyway. Then we scroll down here, there's the dividends by the year, $7,200, projecting about $15,000 in dividend income for 2021, so we'll pretty much double what we had in year 2020. So we just got done looking at all of this, let's see, 4, 5, and 6, and options income. I'm not going to talk about the IB CSP account. I am killing in that account already. I'm up over $9,000 for basically a month and a few days. So yeah, $6,000 in the month of January, and for the month of February, which has only been 4 days, I'm already up $3,000. So pretty much killing that account. I am going to make some updates on those. I do, doing a live stream, but I'll probably make a video on that. So we're for covered calls. Let's see here, 7B Schwab account was $63. I think that was just literally on Realty Income. Now, yes, I am doing covered calls on VYM, but I ended up doing a 60-day DT on that, so it's not realized yet. It will be realized in February, and it's a pretty healthy paycheck. It's like $500 or something like that. So I don't know if I'm going to stay to a 60-day DTE or not. I like the 30 days, honestly, but it depends on what strike price I want. But so that brings us to the dividend income projections for the month of February. So let's go ahead and take a look at that now. We had a ton of dividend increases for the month of January. Go ahead and like and subscribe and hit that bell notification. So we were looking at my Schwab account. We're logged in right now, and we do have the set to income up here. This does give you projection. So there's January right there. And right now it shows 340, let me see, that was January, yeah, that's the right month, $455. I wonder why it's $455 when I received 346. That's kind of odd. I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. February, right now we're projected, let's see, $260, $283, that's remaining. So it looks like it's actually gonna be a little bit bigger month than what January was. I need to find out why it shows 455. And then March is a pretty big month for me, so 2373. That's a pretty big month. I'm looking forward to March coming up. So right now we're at $13,000 annual for an average monthly dividend income of $1,143. Let's look at next 12 months just to see. So March, 2373, yeah, they're pretty much all the same as what they are for 2021. But I'm going to continue to add capital to the dividend portfolio, so all these numbers will probably end up going up anyway. So that pretty much does the update for the month of January. I'm looking forward to getting a bigger paycheck for February, continuing to add capital to VYM as well. I will look forward to do an update video on my options account, mostly just naked calls, naked puts, strangles, poor man's covered calls, and not really any covered anything because I don't know any stock in there. So, but anyways, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, go and leave a comment below. You can hit me up on Facegram, you can hit me up on Twitter, or you can hit me up on email or something like that as well. Until next time, go ahead and like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.